Hey guys, it's LSuperSonicQ with part 2 of the drawings that I've been showing from the art class I took in school this past year. So this next picture was actually unfinished, and it was unfinished because I took the project in a completely different direction. The assignment was to draw abstract shapes, put them on the page however you wanted, and then we were going to color it in with paint. However, when my teacher said that we could kind of use our own shapes, I definitely took that and ran with it and ran in a completely different direction and definitely added in my own shapes. I went from an abstract picture to kind of a cultural reference, various references, various influences type of picture, and this is what the end result is. However, it is unfinished, as I said, because simply I didn't have enough time to kind of get stuck on this picture. Also, the time I was drawing it, I was kind of going through some things in my life that I guess are reflective of this in the sense that I didn't finish this picture because the goals in my life weren't achieved as I was drawing it. Kind of my justification for not finishing it. But some references in here I'm sure you guys will get, others I'm sure you won't get, but I'll kind of just pan through a little faster than I probably should, but there's just a lot of intricate stuff, so I think the best way to kind of view it on the camera is just as a whole. Yeah. This was the largest drawing we did in that class as well. So that was kind of a standalone project. These next 3 drawings actually all kind of pair with each other, and it was drawing from a still life. The best way I can put that is drawing a bowl of fruit. That's drawing a still life. We had 3 different pictures, as I said, and we used 3 different mediums. The first one we used was charcoal. So I'm not really into still lifes, and as I said, it's just a type of art that I'm not really into. I don't like drawing, what I see in terms of fruit and vases and picture frames. But this one I actually didn't mind a whole lot, this drawing, because we used charcoal and we were experimenting with the different shades of black and gray and white we could get based on how much pressure we used, how lightly we colored. So I did enjoy that in that sense. It wasn't too painful. I like that tablecloth, and what we were encouraged to do was, or I think what we were told to do, was to kind of add something to this to kind of make it our own because everybody was drawing from the same thing, essentially. So I added a nice checker background to the back there, kind of. And I added a little Sonic head down in the bottom left, because why not? Make it original that way. So, yeah, that's kind of that. Can't really show it any better, just because it's really big. And I don't want to get all this charcoal over the place. We were supposed to spray it with this thing that would reduce the amount of smudging, and I sprayed it, and my thing still smudges like you wouldn't believe, so kind of glad to put that away. These next 2, however, are a lot smaller, and we used different mediums for them as well, as I said. The first one was actually very painful, and I didn't like it, and we used a palette knife. I think we were drawing from the same still life for all 3 of these pictures, just from a different angle, I believe. So, yeah, this is pretty abstract, As I said, a palette knife, it's like a plastic knife, and to try and form the shapes and get color and shading was really hard. Not to mention, guess who was falling behind? I was, so I didn't really want to spend a lot of time on a project I didn't want to do, and I'd rather spend time on a project I did want to do, so I probably didn't spend as much time as I should have on this. However, I do like that vase. The vase with the shading is kind of nice, but other than that, yeah, not a big fan of using the palette knife, not a big fan of this picture. The next one's a little bit better, however, and we used some, I don't know exactly what they were. I want to say they were like pastels, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to say they were like a little bit better than crayons, but I think they were around the category of crayons. And that's this. You can, I guess, kind of make out the shapes a little bit better. The vase. I added in that kind of checker background again, just to kind of give it an original appearance. But yeah. That's that one. Again, not really commenting a whole lot because I'm not really a big fan of these, so don't really have a whole lot to talk about, not really a lot of me in them. These next projects, however, do contain a lot of me. So, the first one I'm going to show you... Oh yeah, we've been going in chronological order anyway, so forgot about that. The first one, or the next first one, is a project where we were using Photoshop. We had to make a Photoshop edit, and we were making something called an installation. The best way I can put that is if you guys have gone to a park or seen pictures of a park where there's like a huge sculpture in the middle of it, yeah, that's the installation. So when my art teacher said that we had to kind of think big, think of something really, really that you can make really small, but that you can scale up really big to make it look like it's actually in the picture, the first thing I thought of was giant robot mechs, because for some reason I did. However, what I thought of wasn't the Gundam stereotypical robot mech style, but I thought more of like the Hayao Miyazaki Castle in the Sky type robots. Those kind of rusted old robots. And I am a really big sucker for skylines and pictures of the sky and cityscapes and that type of thing. So what I ended up doing was, because we had to take a picture of this location and then put it on Photoshop and make a maquette model and put it into the picture. So I took a picture of part of the town, and I wanted to focus on a smokestack, kind of a nice raised surface. And what I ended up doing was sculpting a little model of a robot, and I decided to put him on top of the smokestack. So that is my Photoshop edit. And actually, I have that robot right here. Yeah, I managed to keep this guy because, well, it's a clay model, so why would I ever throw him out? But I definitely wanted to keep him around because I want to do more pictures of him, either around the town or, just something else with him. I'll talk a little bit about the model, though. I think for spending the least amount of time ever painting a clay model, this is the best paint job I've probably ever done, because I wanted him to look rusty, and by rushing, essentially, I was kind of just by doing that, I added so many different layers and variations of the paint that it looks like rust. Some areas are darker brown, some areas are lighter brown, and it just really, really looks nice. I added in some darker green to add like a moss effect. I got some of his wires kind of just, all about. I tried to be as original as I could with this design because I had kind of the Hayao Miyazaki Castle in the Sky idea in my head. I had some other type of robots in my head, so I wanted to kind of base it off of something, but not exactly copy. So for my liking and for what I was able to do, I'm pretty sure this is as original as I could get. I don't think this copies like any robot I've ever seen before. So, especially for someone who kind of just sculpts video game characters and kind of is influenced by that, to make something completely original, it's pretty good. So yeah. Didn't really finish the back though, because aside from the fact that I was pressed for time yet again, if I was kind of going to photograph him like that, I guess you didn't really need to see the bottom or anything. But that's him. Yeah, you like that. So with that, again, I want to keep these parts a little bit shorter. So that is the end of part 2, and the next one we will finish up the rest of the drawings of the show. This section won't go more than 3 parts. So thanks for watching, and stick around for the next part.